Hi, you guys. How you doing? It's Mr. Ferrin here, and I have been not with you for so long. It's going to be great to get back to where I can see you and be with you. So this very Friday, which is tomorrow, the 21st, we'll be together again. And on March 7th, by the way, Allie's grandfather's going to come and teach us even more about astronomy and things. But I went through, and thank you, I went through your workbooks that you have given to me and left with me, and they were great and interesting, and the great questions and great homework. Remember, on your workbooks, what you're doing is in one section, you're deciding you want to know more about, you're studying more about what we're talking about. So lately it's been space and outer space and those sort of things. But in the other part, investigations, research part, you're asking questions or putting things together to teach us about something interesting. So I'm inviting you to have a mini great brain to say, hey, I want to teach you about sharks, or I want to teach you about something you find fascinating, how garbage trucks work and how they crush the garbage, where the garbage goes and things. Which, by the way, if you're interested in, we might study it together a little bit, because it deals with environmental issues and making the earth clean and good. And so we'll deal with that. But I was going through those, I did notice that Allie had an interesting question that I thought we might want to study. We've been studying about space, but now maybe we ought to get a little closer to Earth. And I'm a pilot, you might know, and I fly airplanes and things. And so it might be interesting to know a little more about kind of flight and motors, that you need to have a motor to fly generally, unless you use a sailplane. And so Allie asked, how do cars go? Which really means, in part, how does an engine work? How do things, how does the internal combustion engine and other things work? And so I thought we might spend a little time our next time together trying to figure out how motors work, and we'll begin a little bit about airplanes and flight and stuff. We've talked kind of about rockets, we've talked kind of about space and things, and we've talked about the space station. Maybe it's time to come a little closer now and just learn a little bit about airplanes. And so another thing that we might do, if this week or next week, is if you know how to make a really good paper airplane, we might try them out in class. And maybe next week we'll have a little contest to see whose plane can fly the farthest and whose plane can stay in the air the longest. And we can do that just in our classroom, I think, there. So we're going to learn a little bit about, it's sort of related to gravity, sort of related to some of those things, to how a plane flies, and it's related to Allie's question, how does a car go? In other words, how does a motor work? And so it's pretty similar. And so we'll learn a tiny bit about cars. If you want to learn more about cars, we can. And maybe, if it's all right, I'll show you a little video of how a garbage truck works, just to get us started thinking about that, because it's what you can do with motors, bigger things too, not just cars, but trucks and things. And I've got a thing we might see where it crushes a sofa. It's something, a couch, like in your front room, and the garbage truck picks one up. It's all done with motors. So that's what we're going to study, and we're going to do a new book. We finally figured out that Joe was not a Martian from Mars, and so he was just different. His parents were diplomats from another country, meeting with the president for real and doing other things. So sometimes kids seem different and weird, but they can be really cool, especially if you give them a chance and help them have a good experience. And we're just not going to tolerate not being good to other kids. We're just not going to be bullies, are we? We're going to help kids be happy and not be picked on by other kids. That's just something that you're going to want to do, because you're special, a group that really is a good group of kids. So I'll see you on Friday. Bring your notebooks. You might want to bring a paper airplane this Friday, and we'll try it out and see. But we're going to be learning about motors a little bit, and we'll show the video again about the scale of the universe and the scale of the planets, and see if we can make that work better. Thanks so much, you guys. You take care. We'll see you Friday the 21st.